Okay, so the show will begin now. That's an intro.
Now. Yep.
And now the show
that's what I call
begins.
an intro. It's very,
These
explains a lot, I guess.
Yes. Man, it makes us sound really professional, too. Mm-hmm. And it just gets you right into the mood. You're just like...
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
And
this is...
Not good.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some good soundboard
Yeah, it
work.
was.
But this is Inane Blather, episode 30.
Wow.
Episode 30, where we finally get to the bottom of the important things we've been getting at. Number one, most of all,
Mental illness is when you're right wing.
Mm-hmm.
that's we're going to prove Ben Shapiro correct.
As we do
prove him
every
right.
week.
Although somehow also proving that...
Socialism is when no car.
And it is also a podcast hosted by two complete absolute morons, and they are...
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
So how are you, Natalie?
I want to know what the acronym is for that. So if you could get that to me, that'd be great. I'm great. I'm fine. How are you?
Let's just take some really slow, like, all right, I'll just hold on. No, I won't cut this out. I'm just like, okay, let's see.
So you're not going to cut this out?
Wait, no, wait. Like, people like hearing our process.
Yeah.
I'm
interested in how we get to the headspace we're in for these conversations.
So, like, I can almost hear the pen writing on the notepad. I'm just like...
This is lit.
Awesome to the max.
and scene. Because, no,
Nice.
that's not going to happen. But I'm glad that you're doing well.
I actually said I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah. Well, this joke would work great if I was fine. I feel like shit, but it is great to be fine.
I agree. It's great to be fine.
Yeah, I wish I were fine. It's just been rough. But speaking of, as soon as I start, then I start coughing.
Mm-hmm.
No, honestly, it's just been...
It's been...
I don't like... It's been a whole shitty goddamn week.
Oh.
But yeah, it has. I mean, I was sick. There's all these things just started piling up, from little things to big things, realizing I had a huge tax bill, being behind on some other bills, being stressed out, trying to figure out how to get my kid a birthday present. Our dad is in and out of the doctor nonstop. I'm worried about him. Then I get sick, and then like my roof in the garage starts leaking. 2 of my outlets stop working.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Exactly. I've been thinking of exactly that so often, and especially when it finally came down to, and I, on top of all that, just being sick while it's been beautiful outside. It's been in the 50s and sunny every day.
Of course.
And like where it's like I have this time where I could be getting some things done, but I'm sick and tired, and I'm just like, I just need to sit down and rest. I need to sleep all day, take some medicine, and it's like I'm wasting all this time. So I'm just like spiraling into depression over a weekend by myself. And then finally last night, I wake up at like 3 a.m. Like the dog kind of rustles me awake. I'm like, I need to use the bathroom. So I go sit down on the toilet, and my toilet seat cracks and breaks. And I was just like, and I'm sitting there just like, my pet's heads are falling off. It was exactly what was coming to mind. It was just like, things could always be worse, but when it's like you just start listing all this crap to yourself in your head, it's just like, and then this and that, and it's all this stuff that you haven't dealt with is the biggest thing that just keeps driving, and it's like, I just want to just crank the wheel to the right off the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, God. But it is great to be fine, so I'm working my way towards findom. Yeah.
Well, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Really sucks.
It's just
one thing after another.
It's just been crappy. But
that sounds kind of funny. I mean,
sure, it's hilarious. No, exactly. That's it's where it's like that kind of hysterical, like manic, like hate laugh to yourself when you sit down at 3 a.m. and your toilet seat breaks and like pinches your ass cheek because it's like cracked.
Ouch.
Yeah, yeah. I have like clear Gorilla Tape over it right now until I get a new toilet seat.
And this is a good example. I think like, okay, if people don't have much stress in their life, like financial stress is a really, really big one. Like, you can laugh about things like that way more easily. Like, if other shit wasn't going on like that, you sit down on your toilet seat and it breaks. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's a funny thing to happen, to someone in the middle of the night. Like, what the fuck just happened? But, with all these other stresses.
Definitely surprised me.
Just how, your mental state can really alter a view of a situation and your ability to respond to it in a way, that's more lighthearted or not or whatever. That sucks. That sucks. That
you gotta laugh.
But I mean,
you gotta laugh at those things because I can't make myself laugh at the cloud of financial instability hanging over my head. But so then the toilet things, you gotta laugh at that, and you gotta.
But it makes it a lot harder to laugh at them. That's what I'm saying.
Instead of thinking like, God, what the fuck? Like, I bought this toilet seat recently because there was this original one that was on there, and it was like all loose and stuff was messed up. I was like, fine, I'm just gonna buy a new toilet seat, and I did like. I don't know, 9 months ago.
You got that one with like hydraulics on it and stuff? Maybe that was the problem. You went too high
shock
end.
absorbers. No, that's the thing is that you can laugh for it happening because it's kind of silly. And if I think about it further, it's like, wait, why would that happen? It's like, because I had to buy a cheap-ass toilet seat because I was surprised at how expensive toilet seats were. I was like, I'm not going to spend like over $30 on a toilet seat. What are you talking about? You just put your butt on it, And so I bought a cheap one, and now look at that. It broke in like less than a year.
And
it's like, and I don't have like elephants sitting on my toilet. It's pretty normal usage. Pretty
mild,
low usage. Yeah.
I think that some more news just covered this in their most recent episode was why being poor is so expensive.
Yes,
like why
definitely.
Like things like this exact situation where you have to buy 2 toilet seats over the course of whatever long it's been. That really adds up for someone with a limited budget. And then if you could have just gotten a better one to begin with, like, then you wouldn't have to buy another one because it wouldn't have broken.
Yeah. Or just like when I had to drive into town to get another canvas tarp to put over it. Luckily, I found another regular tarp to put under it for my roof, but it's not like I can afford to just fix my garage roof. It's going to cost me like $5,000. Like, it's like, I can't just do that. So it's just constantly getting up and down off the roof and like tarping it and stuff until I have the money for it, That's one of those things. And eventually I'm going to end up spending the money on fixing the roof too. So it just cost more over more time and stressed me out more. I mean, and because of the situation, I might have to get drywall for the ceiling at some point too because it leaked so bad, and blah, 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 blah. So, and I'm not even that poor. I'm definitely working class, but according to the federal government, I'm not very poor. That's for sure. What the fuck? Anyway, but I don't want to start with a downer. Although maybe it isn't. Everyone gets to listen to my misfortunes and just be like,
awesome.
It's like, well, that's what these lefties get.
They're criminals and rapists.
Oh man, that's really loud.
That was.
But I need to redo those ones. So anyway, the end of that story is
drugs are fun.
Exactly,
and
that's
so if
why
I could afford a bunch of them, I would be on them right now.
And that's why, like I said, I have a nicotine addiction now because drugs are fun.
That doesn't help when I'm trying to scrimp and save at certain points, and it's just like I have to buy nicotine. I have to get some vapes. Like I have
Makes
to get
life
something because I'm
possible.
so addicted. Yeah. And it's like, man, I could be saving a few bucks. That's for sure. So, but
Fun stuff.
speaking of breaking toilet seats, you wanted to talk about healthcare. Did you have something in particular to say, or did you want me to run through a few of my notes?
I just was thinking about, everyone has a story of annoying things in our system from annoying to, some more like life-threatening or real stresses. I know you have had some like situations where having to get work done and like not being able to pay maybe, and then just the standard, it's like you live in so you live in America, so because you live in rural America, you don't get to have the same kind of like technology and like equipment and stuff. The MRI machine comes around once every 2 weeks or whatever, to some of these small communities, which is like, why is that? Why is it that, I mean, yeah,
Our healthcare system's
so
bad
obvious
enough already, and it also
Yeah.
just doesn't cover everyone geographically.
Yeah,
Right?
like even if you
know,
have
it's funny.
insurance and coverage, you're not like covered with like the equipment and like the necessary tools to treat you necessarily.
Yeah, the
because
necessary means for a good
necessary,
doctor.
yeah. Capitalism probably is what it comes down to, and it's just so frustrating that and all of those things just compound like people's lack of access to healthcare and like what that does to a community broader, like in a broader sense, and it just is all just really disappointing. But you did say
Yeah.
it was just like more kind of a broad thinking about how fucking R-worded our healthcare system is.
Yeah.
It's just
even basic stuff. I was just talking to one of my friends today who her little son had a problem with his tooth and it got an infection, and then he would keep wiggling it around and it needs to come out now. Like his tooth just needs to be pulled early. And she's like, well, and then we started, our insurance doesn't cover. Yeah, they don't take our insurance anymore at that dentist, but so then we pay like a monthly fee for the kids so we can have a savings plan at that place. I was like, ugh, yeah, it sounds like now you're going to need to set up a long-term thing at a place that does take your insurance. She's like, no, the only one that does sucks. So we just have to pay out of pocket at this other place and pay a savings
and this
plan.
is
I was
for
like,
a
God, that
child's
sucks.
tooth
Yes.
that needs to be pulled, and it's like, oh my god, like legit, can't we agree that one industry that you shouldn't be profiting off of is like the one that's concerned with our bodies, the things, the advancements and all of these like technology and stuff that they come up with? It has no purpose whatsoever at all besides to help people be healthier.
Yeah.
That is what it's for. That's why it's made. I guess it's made to make money though. But it
here,
just is
yeah.
really disappointing. I mean, yeah, that's where things end up with. You're just talking about, it's like, man, I was just born into this fucking thing. I don't know what's going on. I didn't ask to be born, but legitimately, I didn't choose to be a human. I didn't choose to have any of these issues or anything like that. Stuff happens, needs to be taken care of. We know how to take care of it, so why don't we do that?
Yeah. Well, that's like
it just seems
the
really
whole-
disappointing.
That's the whole Mr. Beast thing, which I mentioned before the show.
I've only
I was
seen,
gonna
like,
say
blips
I
of
mean
it,
the American healthcare system is pretty much just this,
I hope you get ass cancer and die, you son of a bitch.
and that's that's pretty much describes it. That's coming
That's
from
America.
a doctor,
Yeah.
so that's Dr. Phil himself. But
Don't quote me on that, though.
yeah, so I mean, for people that don't follow that YouTube stuff, or even though you're on YouTube all the time, I don't watch Mr. Beast videos, but he's the most watched, YouTuber on Earth.
He's so annoying to me. He's so incredibly
Yeah, that's what
boring.
I don't get.
And annoying.
Yeah, it's just so hollow.
Oh yeah, so devoid
me.
of any
And I've
meaning
never
or-
seen. Although who knows? I've never seen more than 30 seconds of his content.
like a lot of kids
Well,
watch
I guess
his
Aaron
stuff.
Brown talked about it. Did you watch Aaron Brown talking about?
No, not if it's on his
Mr.
Patreon.
Beast?
But I've seen it.
because
I've seen
was-
clips
yeah,
of it.
where
and
he's
stuff.
like.
I've just
Him hold, the last person to
About
take
the-
their hand off the Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And Aaron Brown covered that. He's like, I'm holding my own, and it was like a $1,200 Toyota
Yeah.
Camry with 300,000 miles on it, or something like that. But anyway,
But he did this
I mean,
giveaway for like
long story short, he,
Cured blindness.
did pure, yeah, and a great thing to do
Sure.
with a whole bunch of money, right? So he gave
course.
1,000 people the fucking gift of sight because you can get cataract surgery and restore your sight. I mean, it's curable blindness,
Yeah.
right? And so he spent all this money. I mean, as I was kind of alluding to before we started the show, it's like, well, then it became this whole thing because it's like all these leftists are mad at Mr. Beast, and it became this back and forth, especially on Twitter, where it's
Shocking.
like, why are people mad at Mr. Beast? He's doing a good thing. And for the most part, people aren't mad at Mr. Beast. How could you be mad at someone for doing that? I mean, on one hand,
think it's for,
some
like,
people
clout
are
or for
mad
clicks or
because
whatever?
you're doing it for content, as content. But I mean,
You're still
it's
doing
like,
it.
well, if you're still, you're still doing it, and to be able to have all this money to pay for people's surgeries, I mean, you got to be making content. So whatever, that's kind of besides the point. But most of the people that were mad or like just upset, like especially just the thumbnail, everything, the entire idea, it's like, this is disgusting. Like
Yeah.
that this exists, that this is a thing, that instead of just getting a 10-minute procedure, it's a 10-minute surgery, which I didn't know. I mean, of course, it's complicated and a specialist has to do it, but still, it's
in and out.
can be a
Yeah.
routine thing, doesn't take all day, doesn't lay you up in the hospital, but it costs $3,000 on average in the United States, and it gives people sight. Like, how insane is that? And
Yeah.
even with all of the quote unquote backlash, because it's people talking about like, this isn't a video about how good Mr. Beast is. This is a video about how shitty the American healthcare system is.
Definitely,
Like,
yeah.
it should, like, Hassan had his whole thing about it. Hassan Piker was saying, this video just makes me fills me with rage. Just knowing that these people are only blind because they can't afford this procedure. It's sick, and that the government just doesn't do anything for them. And even Mr. Beast, Mr. Capitalism on YouTube himself, finally responded to a bunch of it in a tweet saying it really is unfortunate and that this even has to be done at all. He is kind of on that side. Even looking at it from a capitalist perspective, he had said,
Your ROI
even
should
from
be
a
good. Yeah.
from a cost perspective, the government doing this should have a good ROI because then these people can go back to work and pay taxes. And it's like, yeah, even if you're looking at it like that, it's good for the American government. But the problem is, it isn't the American government's decision. It's not a good ROI for major healthcare providers. It's not good ROI for insurance companies. It's not good ROI for them. And they're the ones making these fucking decisions.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh. I mean, speaking of my financial troubles, I think I'm going to have to get, I know I'm going to have to get different insurance. It's going to cost me so much money. It's going to cost me more money for the first time to get my medication. Something that I've just I keep going back and forth in my mind. Am I just going to wean myself off of this? Because I don't think I can. SSRIs, I'll fucking die. It's just the fact that I'm just gonna have to start paying a couple $100 a month for the privilege of now paying out of pocket for my medication just is insane.
Yeah, it's disgusting. What a
And
joke.
it's because it
Yeah.
obviously could be provided to me before.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. It's not like they're not capable of like providing this to people,
Yeah.
but they just want to make money. It's fucking gross. Yeah, letting people legit just be blind. Cool.
Yeah.
Letting people kill themselves. Cool, bro. Cool way to make a buck. Like, build a yacht or some bullshit like that. Like, you're gonna let people, like, like insulin is always the example. People are rationing their insulin because they can't
Yes.
afford it. Something that's incredibly cheap to make and has been around however fucking long they've been using insulin. Like, and they're just, like, legit letting people die directly because of their decisions for more profits.
yeah.
Like, it's all over the news. I mean, you can see it, especially, access to mental health. Mental health care, that's
Never heard of it.
lack of access
We don't have
definitely contributes to, like, I don't know, this uptick we see in, like, suicides and deaths of despair, like drug addiction and overdose and stuff like that. Cool.
Yeah.
This is the coolest system, and I can see why the rest of the world does it the exact same way that America does, because
Yes,
it
exactly.
works,
See, they were talking about the Mr. Beast thing, because this was a couple weeks ago, right? But I was just catching up on The Leftovers with Hassan Piker and Ethan Klein, and that was like 11 days ago or something was the last one, and they were talking about that, and they're like, yeah, just look at it this way. Mr. Beast did these like 1,000 surgeries here, and then it's like, and now we're gonna keep doing it across the world. Like, he's gonna keep going out to other places and doing it. It's like, look at these list of countries. It's like Brazil, Vietnam,
Somalia.
yeah, exactly. Mexico, which was surprising because they have universal health care, but I guess they have I don't know. It's like, but there's like a long wait list and a long line for that particular surgery. It's like, so how does someone providing money make that any different? That's kind of weird to
they
me.
pay cash instead of,
are they just, I don't know.
being a
It's
part
like,
of
instead of
the-
being on the government list.
legitimately,
I mean,
that happens. Our sister told me before, like, she used to work in the healthcare industry at this place that did surgeries, but so they have an office, but they don't perform the surgeries in their office. They perform them in the hospital, and so you have to like have it scheduled out to do like the OR and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
you have
so
to make sure that the patient
like,
pays for the rent on that room too. It's ridiculous.
legit, she has had a conversation like with someone saying you need to move, like someone's coming in like getting ready for their surgery, like it's like the next day or whatever, and the hospital, it's like, no, you have to move this patient because we have a private payer, like either private insurance or
my
cash pay,
God.
jumps the fucking line ahead of someone who's like preparing for this fucking surgery, like the scheduling and all, and like
Took
and
time
blah
off
blah
of
blah, but also
work.
just like the physical, yes, and like doing things beforehand, like prepping for
Mentally
surgery,
prepared.
eating things or drinking things or whatever.
Yeah, true.
Like, yeah,
Got a
because
fucking
of someone
enema.
being able, yeah, like, and because someone could pay more to the hospital, they
That's
would get to jump the line,
enraging.
pretty much.
Oh my
Isn't
God.
that so incredibly disgusting? Yes.
Not only just
America.
all of the prep and like the the financial aspect or like your schedule from work and this and that, but just the mental prep. Like, I don't know, the couple times
Absolutely.
that I've done it, I hate the idea of going into surgery when you're going to be put
Yeah.
under and stuff. It's so terrifying. Oh
That's
my
why they
God,
counsel
there's
you beforehand and like talk
nothing
to you and like,
scarier
yeah.
than that. Like, like I've been in a rollover car accident and like them putting the IV of drugs into you before you go under is scarier than when I was upside down in midair. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
swear.
very much out of control, completely.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Ooh, it's scary. That's stupid.
Isn't
this
it?
whole just come on. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
it's disgusting. Like,
What
and
the
it's like
fuck?
you're saying
it's
the
the wrong
government.
one.
It's not the government. Making the decisions. It's in the hands of these. The healthcare industry, corporations and stuff. It's like, and they are the government. They have lobbyists
Yeah.
and stuff to be able to write laws the way that they want them, so they can have the power and control to do whatever they want. They can price gouge. They can do, especially
look at
pharmaceuticals.
Kirsten Sinema.
Obviously.
Stupid bitch.
No. Fuck that
Look
bitch.
at her. Look at
I
her.
will not.
You little poopy bitch.
Look at her.
That's what I
Yeah,
would say
look
to
at her and just tell her.
Suck my dick, idiot.
That's what you have to say.
I would. And I'd give her a little thumbs down. Like a little cute little, like cutesy
Yeah.
little thumbs down like she did.
Yeah.
She's so cool. She's
And then
so
when
cool.
she's
You can
distracted
tell by
looking
her
at that
outfits.
thumb, you just give her a left hook with the other hand. Just knock her
except for
fucking
then-
designer glasses off her face.
Yeah, and then she'll get to go have like government health care take care of her. She'll get to go to the doctor and like have really good health care because of her
That's
job.
really funny.
That's paid
That's
for
really
by
funny.
American taxpayers.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. No, but it's really fun. That's a funny point. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
all these people
nothing
keeping us from having government health care are those people in the
Like-
government.
Why? It's just like how it is around, even around election time, I think. But it's just like, why isn't this talked about 24/7 in Washington? Like, I mean, at least, of course, you have, because of the system and these pieces of garbage that are in office, you know why. But there has to be, like, everyone is aware of this. Everyone, even if they have a different opinion on it, everyone is aware that healthcare is such a big fucking deal in this country. It's an issue, right? And then anyone in working class who has to deal with this, it's like you don't ever have anything but complaints. Like, you can like your doctor, of course. That's why the whole big fucking lie from Obama about keeping your doctor was so important. But it's like this push for universal health care because it would solve so many problems and be like an objective an objective good for our country and for our people and for our nation's children. And we must preserve the future of our children. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm talking about healthcare. I don't know what 14 words you're talking about. But it's like, I didn't say white. No, but yeah.
You didn't
like
have to.
An immediate. But like, there has to be, like, just enough. I think, okay, I'm already thinking it through in my head. The problem is the Senate, right? Because there are enough people in the House that could just be a thorn in everyone's side, enough to keep it, like, on the ballot of the mind. No, just on the table in the conversation, you know what I mean? Just keep it in the conversation politically non-stop. Like, fucking do something. Even if we're getting distracted about, like, student loans or shooting down UFOs or the war in Ukraine or whatever, like this is important. Something needs to be done.
Yeah,
and we've been saying it for 20 fucking years. And it's like, well, we've been saying it since like 1936 or whatever. It's like FDR. But like, it's just important. And
yeah,
even
like
if
it's
they
how we
did a
stay alive.
shitty job, like how they changed things with the ACA, why hasn't something more been done? Even if it's something shitty, why can't you do something? And it's like, why is it up to the Democrats having control? Like, even if the Republicans have their stupid ideas about what's to be done, don't you want something to be done? Listen to people. God.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I don't
like,
get it.
The State of the Union, people kept saying it was like, oh, he's talking about kitchen table issues, like baggage fees or whatever. Kind of, stuff that like is annoying to us, and it would make life nicer. And it seems price gouging and all this kind of stuff.
Of
sure,
like capitalism run amok in our country.
Sure, but it's like. The one that we should keep talking about and never stop talking about, especially because you would have think we learned a motherfucking lesson from COVID, is healthcare. And it is possible to, like, I don't know, provide a vaccine for free to tens of millions of people. And what? Did you guys go out of business or something? No.
Exactly.
Like, it's possible to provide these things to get them to the people that they're actually fucking made for. Like, that's the... Of all things to be cost prohibitive, it's like access to like an x-ray if your child maybe has like lung cancer or something or whatever it takes, blah, blah, blah. All these different things. It's like that in the healthcare industry, the driving factor is still profits. When you're talking about babies and elderly people and, I mean, everyone, but in particular... I mean, children, you know, they definitely, if you want to pull all this personal responsibility bullshit, right-wing talking point, whatever, but definitely with kids, it's like, I don't think that they should have to go without health care because of...
Well, they do. They think that.
I mean...
well, their parents shouldn't have had them. It's the exact same argument as like, well, the parents shouldn't have taken them across the border, you know? It's the exact same stuff. They have zero empathy.
A weird point of view.
Yeah.
What a really strange way to think about other humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because, wait. I think it's because mental illness is when you're right wing.
Mental illness is when you're right wing.
Yeah, it's because...
So we definitely need those healthcare services for them.
It's like, at this point, it's not because they see... like other people as less than human or they don't empathize. It's because those right wingers are inhuman. Like they don't experience humanity. There's something, and that's something that can be changed and fixed.
They're not as people as we are.
Yes, exactly. And you know what would like really get that ball rolling is like things like universal health care and universal free education and blah, blah, blah would make a lot of people less right wing. Because they would be exposed to more ideas.
Yeah, because they'd be smarter. Is that what you're saying?
More free time to like be with other people and this and that. And then they wouldn't be who they are now. And that's a good thing. It's not about like I'm right and you're wrong. It's like not like people would be less bigoted. People would be.
We can cure racism.
Humane.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the cure for racism is literally through the healthcare system.
You know what?
No, it's not at all. But,
no. Being born in America, what a rough place. Legit. So you're born here, you are not entitled to anything. Not food, not shelter, not healthcare, not an education, for sure. I mean, a basic one. But, and then also, you know... what the number one cause of death for youth in America is?
The N-word.
It's gun violence.
Yes, it's so. Yeah, we brought that up on a pod. Mm-hmm. On a pod, since that's how we refer to it.
We were podding.
We were podding it up, and that got brought up. It's really, really crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the country that people are born
world.
into. So you get shot by someone as a child, or you shoot yourself or whatever because the guns aren't put away, and then you can't get treatment, like the healthcare doesn't cover it. Or I mean, of course, you can always get treated at the hospital anytime. Anyone can go there and get treatment, but it's not free. That's for fucking
exactly.
Sure.
Then you're saddled with debt. Yeah, I mean, you know, how Hassan said once again, you know, America isn't a first world country. It's a third world country with a Gucci belt. And it's like, because it's like, sure, we've got tons of money. We have tons of soft power. We have a huge military. It's like, and we also have the highest per capita incarcerated peoples, the highest total incarcerated peoples in the world. Number one in medical debt. Number one in bankruptcies from medical debt. Number one in police brutality per capita. Stuff like that.
We have the highest maternal mortality rate of any of the industrialized countries. So that's also a number one that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
And it disproportionately affects, women of color. So,
and it's not even like it's because we're like some rapidly industrializing country or something like that, because our fucking infrastructure is so bad that we're going to have an entire generation of cancer-ridden sick people in the Midwest because of what's going on in Ohio right now with that
Oh my
fucking
God.
train.
I know.
Like, it's disgusting.
There's lead poisoning in Michigan. There's
That's fixed.
whatever, a
It only
hydrogen
took,
bomb
like,
on
6
fire in
years.
Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
there's literally just poisonous, toxic gas being put into the atmosphere and maybe into the water that could be making its way to the Mississippi River at some point, like because of cost-cutting stuff on the railways. Like, they should have
it's like-
just shut the whole country down. They should have done it.
You couldn't like write this stuff better in a movie or a TV show or whatever.
dystopian
book.
fiction.
Like exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Like exactly what they're doing, and it's so like. That's why I
We
just
have all
don't
this
really
third
understand
world shit, and
conspiracy,
the only
like-
way that some people are getting their fucking cataract surgery done is they are
YouTube
bequeathed that
star.
procedure from a YouTube star who has this weird blank hollow smile in his thumbnails. It's very dystopian.
Yeah.
The same
It's-
guy who gave away a private jet, the last one to take their hand off. It sounds like a fucking joke. Sounds like
It is a
The
joke.
Onion.
Oh man, yeah, it can be pretty disturbing. Like, yeah, that's why I don't get conspiracy theorists, because I'm like, why would you need a conspiracy? It's like it's so obvious. It's just out there. They're just doing it. You watch them do that. You see the news even cover this stuff, and then nothing happens because of money. There doesn't need to be like some complicated answer. That's just what it is, and it's very clear. You don't like. There isn't like an undercurrent of, okay, because then, it's not the Jews, it's capitalism. Like,
Well,
it's just.
I mean, that's kind of you're kinda getting there. You bringing up the
No. I'm
Jews
saying
again.
these are not. I'm saying that's what conspiracy theorists do.
Sheesh.
That's where it goes down that path. Not me, because I'm not a conspiracy.
Okay, Natalie.
Because it's just the structure of all of these economies and stuff, and what the value is, and like what people are striving for and putting as the number one priority is money. It's just right there, because otherwise insulin would be
it's
fucking free.
the whole
a lot of
point.
this stuff would be so. And
It's
you know
a
the other thing
feature,
about
not a
capitalism is
bug. Yeah. You know,
it's
that
all
old
of this
saying.
stuff that makes us have a bunch of bullshit like materials, you know. And if it wasn't so capitalist focused, so many things, cataract surgery like this, MRIs, and all of this shit could be like practically on every street corner. We could be like Star fucking Trek with a one single shot, and we're like immune to every disease that we know of, you know? Like we would be so healthy, we could understand our bodies so much better. But instead, it's only to the people who deserve it. Like Kim Kardashian,
Yeah.
you know?
And
like,
on top of that, the capitalist chokehold on media and education ensures that not only is it that bad right now, but there is a not insignificant group of people that want to go further back. Talk about like making progress and in healthcare and knowing about ourselves and our bodies. There are people that want to ban books and like and make sure that kids have less health education and that no one learns more about humanities. Jordan Peterson wants to his ideal colleges wouldn't
sociology
teach
classes?
sociology or ethnic studies or English literature. You know, it's like there are people that will always be there, but they're an overrepresented group because of the profit motive that exists
Money.
in media as
Yes.
well. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, what? Well, capitalism brought us here and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's on one hand you can talk about the great strides that were made in human civilization throughout the growth of capitalism across the world, but you can also say at this point, I mean, you don't need it even for innovation. I mean, we've kind of talked about that before, but even in healthcare,
you cut out.
or even in healthcare, it's just like, yeah. And you know who just made a fucking lung cancer vaccine? Cuba. You know who made their own COVID vaccine and took it to other countries that we wouldn't take it to? Cuba. Communist old Cuba. Like, they can do it. Like,
yeah. And you know what? The argument about capitalism and how it's brought us into whatever, and like all the strides we've made with it, whatever. Because you know what? What are you comparing it to? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's all
so
progress.
that's the way that, but I mean, that's exactly. It's like, yeah, that is what happened with this, because that's what happened because of a lot of different things. Because, well, the Big Bang started. So then when you think about it, you know, it's like,
yeah, it's like compared to
it's like,
serfdom,
sure, that's what
sure.
happened. But you think that without capitalism, nothing would have ever happened. No other form of any sort of system of
well, look at the Russian
trading
Revolution
or whatever could have ever come out of it.
They didn't go from serfdom to capitalism.
Well, and there are
went-
examples of
they
like,
went from
I mean,
serfdom
communism
to
in
the
China
Soviet
lifting people out of
Union.
poverty too. But
Yeah.
it just is like a dumb. I don't really like the point of being like, well, look what capitalism brought us. It's like, no, that's just humans. We were gonna get this stuff anyways.
Yeah.
we were gonna. It's always inevitable that we're gonna progress.
True.
So we just chose this one that made sense for a while, but like you're saying, it doesn't really make sense anymore because we've kind of evolved past this barbaric system that it ends up exactly like it is now, where people are dying outside a billionaire's office. You know what I mean? Like, that's what capitalism gets you once you
Yeah.
get to this stage of it anyways. So like,
America.
let's keep evolving. Like,
Yeah,
we
instead of,
have,
like-
through all of these.
Yeah, that's the problem is
Millennia.
that other countries we're all progressing in certain ways, but yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, because time moves on, like you're
America's
saying.
regressing.
America is progressing further into capitalism. And you talk about late stage capitalism, whatever, when other
America is
other countries
regressing.
are progressing past capitalism, even though they're, I mean, progressing, yeah, away from capitalism in terms of like social democracies and stuff like that. You can talk about other countries that aren't really capitalist because there's only a couple. I mean, who knows? I mean, being North Korea, they're not capitalist, but it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
but
if you're involved in the
but
global
the Nordic
market, then
countries
you're
that we talk about being
capitalist.
further ahead than us, then yeah, they're capitalist, but they're moving forward, which means they're becoming in some ways less capitalist in terms of like the way that they move forward. The way that we're moving forward is going further into debauched, disgusting, dystopian capitalism.
Which seems like a step backwards because you should
Yes.
know better by now.
but it all depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
but I
no,
was
it's
saying
not.
we're
It's
regressing.
still a step forward because look, we have F-35s and we have a bunch of
Yeah.
billionaires. It's like, well, I guess
true.
it's a step forward if you're a billionaire.
Yeah,
But it
I
isn't
mean,
for
that's
anyone else.
capitalism.
It
We
isn't
sure
for
are winning at
99%
it.
of the people. Yeah.
I was saying regressing, like taking away, abortion rights and stuff.
Oh, no one
like
cares about that.
legitimately, actually, we're not talking about healthcare here.
Like abortion rights?
Literally just regressing to back to where we were 50 years ago. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
civil rights
legit,
wise,
like,
it's
to-
not looking good.
and you know what? Some other countries, like Argentina, they won like abortion rights for women there, and their protections. It's like if you want an abortion, if you're gonna get an abortion, you have to have it within 1 week of like that decision. There, you like it's not. There is no heartbeat bullshit. Like all of this bullshit that happens in America that women have to, all the hoops they had to jump through even before Roe versus Wade was overturned. There was a lot of restrictions here in America. Other countries, I mean, Argentina seems like a cool place to me, but I think that, the kind of consensus or worldwide or what used to be or whatever, that America was pretty progressive and like a bastion for like human rights and civil rights, and that's why we have democracy and all this kind of stuff. And it just seems really interesting just how much farther fucking ahead so many of these other countries are that
Yeah.
I mean,
You only
we're
think
number
that
one or
we're
whatever.
seen as that because you live in America. where it's just like,
No, we have for a long time. We've been seen as like a place because you could come here and you could make money and whatever, and like because of the nice things, like because we're a
you're
third world
white.
country with a Gucci belt and all of those kinds of things. Yeah. But it was a place you could immigrate to. There's a lot of things like about our soft power that it did go out worldwide to people thinking because our culture was really disseminated across the whole world, you know?
Sure.
Like because of capitalism.
there's the
But-
power of capitalism. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
and, like, we have
is
armed
that everyone
forces in,
knows
like,
who
every
Britney
single country.
Spears is, and people know what Coca-Cola is. Yeah, that's progress.
and that's our culture right there, capitalism. And we have, military everywhere, so people kind of know us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of had this illusion, at least, because it definitely was, and we see that, we're just a white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal society that just doubles down on all of the dastardly dipshit deeds
yeah,
that we've
a lot
ever
of
done.
D's and this
doesn't wanna-
dystopian double
Yeah.
downs.
Dystopian double downs.
Yeah, double down on
Yeah,
dystopia.
but there's a lot of, we have a lot of nice, like, the standard of living, I think, here is, for a lot of people in the world, it's not possible to live like this, like, so many billions of people in the world live on less than $2 a day. Just really, really, like, a lot of people don't live at the kind of basic standard of living that we can kind of expect here,
Sure.
even though it fucking sucks here.
yeah, a
But
lot of
it's
people
just
live like that
interesting,
because
how much
because of our
Of America.
of capitalism just extracting everything from the global south. Like it's
Oh, yeah.
crazy. It's what
Oh,
people
I
go
did-
through to support us sitting here doing a fucking podcast complaining about America right now. I mean,
know.
there is no ethical
And- but you
consumption
know-
under capitalism, but it's pretty stark and pretty disgusting what people have to do. And then there are other countries where people can have a decent life where they, like Vietnam or something like that. And the U.S. just shits on them, It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, and also a big thing about people coming here is we're just a gigantic country too. We've got a lot of room for people to live. So
Yeah, and
there's
we got a lot of
places for people to
variety.
live. But you know what?
All these
What's
different
interesting
states.
is we're like 3% of the world's population or something like that.
Yeah.
And 20% of the gun deaths worldwide are from the United States. 20%
Yeah, but they're all from Antifa
of gun deaths.
shooters. That's what it is.
super soldiers.
Antifa, yeah, and
So-
Antifa super soldiers with blue hair that are marching into into bars and forcing people to use their pronouns at gunpoint. I want to get off of that. I'm just like getting more and more mad. And I started off mad. We gotta change
wait,
tracks.
it's our
here.
30th
What?
episode. I was been
Yeah.
meaning to ask for an update about your terror cell. We'd kind of
I already gave up on
hadn't really
that, like
talked about it. I
episode
know-
5, because I was too. I can't improv on it. It's like I don't know where I'm going
Yeah,
with that.
not on the
Although I
spot.
was just gonna make a joke earlier about just being like, yeah, that's why this sort of healthcare stuff will be in a manifesto as I hijack a jetliner and fly it into a fucking building. It's like, I don't think I need much of a terror cell for that. People can just
Yeah.
go back and listen to this episode. They're like, yeah, episode 30 of this podcast that had 13 listeners. Oh, that's why he killed 4,000 people. Just,
That
I
seems
want
justified.
universal health care instead of Allah Akbar as it flies
Yeah.
directly into the Freedom Tower. But it's just like a plane filled with like all under 3 ounce containers of like pure rubbing alcohol, so it all bursts into flames. It's like it's all following TSA guidelines. And those folks at home that hear me talking about this, no, I'm not joking, and do it.
If you don't,
It's
do
like,
it-
this is not a disclaimer. These are instructions. We're just gonna get flights on the same day. Imagine that. There's a funny thing. It's like,
I'm
you
gonna
know,
be flying at this end of this month. So
left-
disclaimer: we are joking.
left-wing agitators that want to like hijack all these planes, but the airline system in the United States, like right now, is so shitty that everyone's flights get delayed and they're at the wrong times, and like it's like a
Like stuck on
comedy
the
of
tarmac.
errors. Yeah, just like all this shit going wrong, and people's flights being overbooked, and then someone else gets laid over in the wrong city. The luggage, of course, gets mixed up, so there was like a bomb in a different plane, like somewhere else.
Yeah, it would make you just want to commit the act of terrorism even more.
Yeah,
Screw this.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to do a palate
Cut that
cleanser
out.
here. No, absolutely not. I'm done. I'm done joking. No, I'm gonna stop joking and start choking anyone who disagrees with me.
I see what you did there.
Wow. Speaking of, okay, The Onion. Breaking news. Top Super Bowl ad features Paul Rudd urging Americans to drive Chevy far away from this grim and dying nation. Promoting the car manufacturer as the only way out of this hellhole. Sunday night's top Super Bowl ad featured Paul Rudd urging Americans to get a Chevrolet pickup and drive it far away. Exactly.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
American made right across the border to Canada.
So what do you think? Ooh, George Santos signs with IMG Models.
Is that what he said, or is that what they said?
This is The Onion, yeah. So, yeah, who knows? It's like, I don't know. Is that The Onion? Is it? Yeah.
Or is that just his Twitter? Yeah.
Yeah. And Pentagon confirms UFOs are just regular planes and the nation is just high. That is crazy. It is really like, and you could like, I don't know. It's one of those where it's like, this isn't like some conspiracy to like distract us from bigger issues, is it? Or like, it isn't just we're all wanting to think about something else. It's really weird, this UFO thing, right? Do you know about this? You hear about this? You know about this?
I just, with UFO stuff, I'm like, I just wait for more information.
Yeah.
I'm like, it'd be
Where it's
cool
like,
if it was
you usually
aliens
don't
for
care,
sure. But
and
I'm
it's
like,
or something
I'm sure they're out
interesting.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but just 3 in the past week that are like known and in the news that we've shot down? What the fuck? Like, come on. Like, please.
And like in Canada,
please,
right? Like
something,
Alaska.
even if
and
it's
Canada
an invasion, like, give us a change of pace here, because we're just dying over here.
I know.
We're sitting
Please
here
let it be an
complaining
alien
about
invasion.
healthcare. Yeah,
my
I want to
God.
see a self-propelled floating cylinder like land in the baseball field a block away,
Yeah,
so I
that
can
would
just
be nice.
have some sort of memory at the end of my life as I'm immediately irradiated and wither into dust. But
Yeah, and you're thinking about my credit score.
it's like, oh, I still owe money on my visa. Yep. And turns out America was really on top of it, and that was the thing that determined whether you got into heaven or hell. And I burned for eternity.
No doubt about that.
What?
So, yeah, like I said, I don't want to just like cut you off, but it's like some of this, oh man, healthcare especially, it's just so, I mean, it's dystopian. We keep saying it, but it's just, it really is. It's like being uninsured and having to deal with even being insured and having to deal with this Kafkaesque nightmare that is the American healthcare system. It's like, why doesn't everyone feel like they're in that fucking movie? What is it? They Live, right?
haven't
Where
seen
you've
it.
got the sunglasses on and you see through it and see all of just the disgusting Skeletor aliens in suits and all the propaganda like behind every advertisement, and see how hollow and just consumerist and corporate and disgusting this all is. Like, it's really
We all feel like that
saddening.
all the time.
Yeah. Well, I hear
do, anyways. Man, I walked into a gas station.
I wish I could believe her. Understand that.
Yeah, I walked into a gas station last night and it was late and dark and it was just like the lights were bright and like the aisle was really long with like candy on both sides. And sometimes grocery stores and stuff, I
Oh,
can just be
heaven.
really struck by like it's all the packaging and stuff and all of the food can really get to me. Like, I mean, it just seems like, uncanny or whatever it is. It's like just surreal kind of realization about, I mean, where I live and where other people live and all the process
absurdity.
that got us to this place and like how some of these things that are coming from different countries and I'm imagining these workers that are in their conditions and all this kind of stuff to get it to this shelf and these huge aisles of just all this packaging and it can be
just so a stoner can pick
overwhelming
something
and-
to just have some extra calories while they're lazing around.
Yeah, I just wanted some Cheeto Puffs.
I mean,
white
not you in
cheddar.
particular, but yeah, just
really
like
good.
literally though.
No, it's all about me. Yeah.
Yeah, you are the main
I mean-
character. But
We talked about this.
yeah,
I'll cut
World
your throat.
revolves
I'll
around
come to
me.
your house and kill your children.
but
Don't quote me on
What
that,
about that too?
though.
that's what I say after all of that flying a plane into a building talk. But and one thing that I wrote down, there was something I wrote down that I was like, oh God, I did talk to text. And it's like, and it says, so since like the moon and the tides are related and also women's cycles or supposedly related to the moon or the related to the tides as well, and also like is it actually after all the existence of women that controls the lunar cycle as well as the tides? That's what this said.
Sounds like an AI like, having a stroke.
It is, I mean, because I was saying something kind of silly in the first place, but then all of the mistakes and the punctuation in there, I read it again. I was like, yeah, I'm going to leave it in there like
What
that.
is it?
What is it? I just thought it was funny where it's like, so they say, and of course a lot of people say it isn't, but the whole 4-week cycle. And so that's why it's always been a go-to that women's cycles are related to the moon, right? But then it's like, but also the moon is what controls the tides. So therefore, are women's cycles also related to the tides? And now that we think about it, how do we know the causation here? Is it the existence of women on Earth itself that controls the moon and the tides? That without them, we wouldn't have tides and the moon would never change.
No, women actually just control the whole entire universe. See?
Well,
Because
I mean, it's a place
broader
to
than
start.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Emphasis on broad.
Nice. Broader. I hardly know her.
This is lit,
All
lit, lit.
Okay. But I typed that and I was like, why did I do that? And Arun Brown was like,
It's because you're an honorless, lying little turd.
oh, okay. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Ah,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
That checks out.
Yeah, other things that I had written down, it's like now I don't even want to say this one sentence thing because I was already feeling so negative. But I wrote, we have no safety net. That's something that we can talk about. That sucks. I also wrote, resisting arrest shouldn't be a crime. I don't believe it should be. I don't think resisting arrest
I
should be
think
a
in
crime.
other countries it's not.
It all
So-
depends.
I mean, not every other country, but I
like-
know that different places have different rules about that.
Like, how is it? I mean, maybe it could be something that would change how police deal with you if we were just talking about, having police in their current form or whatever, if you wanted to reform police. But it's like, how is that a crime that gets added on? Like, let alone, imagine if that's just the crime that you're charged with. That's the only thing. That doesn't make any sense. Like, if they're arresting you for something because they're trying to figure it out or whatever, or maybe they had the wrong guy, and so you resist, but then you get in trouble for resisting a wrongful arrest? Fuck you. What the fuck? Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
That's Talk
It's only
about
natural
dystopian
to
kind
like,
of,
yeah, it's like Joseph Heller wrote it. For all you Catch-22 heads out there. Yeah, because that's such a highbrow novel.
It's really
it's
topical,
embarrassing. It's
too.
one of my favorites, and everyone's like, "That's a stupid book. Everyone reads that in high school." I was like, "Well, I like it. And I've read it.
I haven't read
twice.
it in a long time.
I liked it. It was fun.
I liked
It's a fun book. Not every book has to be like deep, bro." What are you reading right now?
Nothing really. I'm
just
I've
sitting
been meaning to finish
here
this book for a
watching
long
the time
time.
go on GarageBand.
Yeah.
Just 22, 23, 24,
25.
25. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's fucking interesting, man.
This
That's fucking
book, I was
interesting.
actually reading a dystopian future novel called Snow Crash, and it's good. I just
That's a
got out
classic.
of it, and and it's like religion as a virus, kind of, and
yeah, I've
really
never read that,
like
but I've
seeing
heard
America
of it many
as,
times. Who wrote that?
America's like Neil Stephenson. He's like a famous, like that kind of dystopian science fiction or whatever author. But it's, and America's like very much, it's interesting. Like organized crime is very mainstream in it. Like there's like billboards for the mafia family. And then like, just like there's like Fedland where it's like the government, it's all just, it's and like capitalism for sure took over in like America, and all the immigrants and lines of miles and miles of immigrants, a refugee barge, of all these boats together. It's very dystopian, and there's a metaverse.
it's very
actually, where
happy-go-lucky.
you get to go into there. Yeah, it's like a fun like read. You and Sophia could read it together. Maybe there's a hydrogen bomb in it. So,
Yeah, sure.
Just kidding. I mean, there is a bomb in it.
I think she's
Sophia
read
wouldn't
it. That's the thing. I have to
think
catch
it's
up.
interesting. Yeah, I actually got it on her recommendation. So
Yeah, she's like, Dad, this is a classic. Lots of people have read this book.
it's Snow Crash.
Come on. It's Snow Crash. Man, I finally... It's funny because it just got brought up on the Quaments show with Arun Brown.
Oh, I know Aaron Brown.
But so I finally, of course, I've heard of the Red Scare podcast many times. I know who Dasha Nekrasova is and yada yada. And I'm an avid Cumtown listener, as anyone can hold against me in a court of law, I'm sure, at some point in my life. But, they were part of the just Chapo extended universe, really. Chapo, Cumtown, Red Scare. But I've just heard people shit on it, really. But so I just had a thought and I downloaded a couple of recent episodes, and I saw them on the Adam Friedland show a few months ago. We watched that episode together. It was really great.
Yeah.
And how they're
Oh my
like,
gosh.
yeah, now we're right wing now. Yeah. And I mean, they're just like, I think they're really funny.
Yeah.
It's this really detached, really irony poison type of thing. And so, and listening through, I listened to a couple hours of it, and it was kind of like difficult but really easygoing at the same time, because it's just them. It's like us, like just inanely blathering, giggling, talking. You just hear them smoking cigarettes the entire time, and like but
That's
it's
what we
like
need.
but the entire time I'm just like, it's just 100% irony the entire time. It's almost too much. I kind of liked it though, in a way. And so, but I'm just like, with some of the stuff, because it's, I don't know, they probably have like 100 episodes or something at least, and I'm just barely getting into it. And so then I look it up. I literally Googled, is the Red Scare podcast ever genuine? I wasn't sure what to look for, and the search results, there were all these like literally just like Reddit threads and stuff, just what's the deal with Red Scare or what's going on with the Red Scare podcast, and getting into their subreddit or surrounding ones, Chapo, TrueAnon, stuff like that, I started getting the feeling that, I'm just giving it the benefit of the doubt. It isn't all irony. Like,
Oh.
and people really dislike the show. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like, am I giving him too much credit in thinking this is like pretty much an Andy Kaufman like level of just pure ironic going with the bit, like their entire series and the persona that they're building through this is just a bit? Because when you look at it that way, I kind of like the show.
Brilliant.
I kind of liked it. It's just like this slow vocal fry to hell, like bitchy women joking about their radical feminism and sometimes really talking about interesting takes on like culture and art. They're self-proclaimed art hoes. That's like what really got a lot of it started. And they live in New York City and all this stuff. It's just interesting to me. But the more that I keep reading, I was like, are all these people just taking them too seriously? Because for me, there's no way they can be serious. But I'm starting to feel like
I think
they
I
kind of
listened to
are.
one that
But
one of
Aaron
them
Brown,
where they were like,
I was just going to say Aaron Brown, he brought up that he's like, it's one of the few places, the Red Scare subreddit is always pretty active and it's really interesting, and the one overarching theme in the subreddit is that no one listens to or likes the podcast. No one. It's like, what
no
were you
one
saying?
listens to
You-
it.
You
Yeah.
heard some of it?
I thought you sent me. I thought maybe that it's like 2 or 3 women.
No,
or-
when they filled
Oh.
in on Come Town, that was something else. Yeah,
Oh.
that was really
That was
funny.
really funny.
Yeah, that was it. Where just that random episode. Oh man, Nick Mullen. Oh, okay. And so speaking of irony and the internet and Come Town and all of this, so okay, I'll admit, I was back on Twitter for a couple of days because I was trying to find the source of what was going on. And it is so funny. I mean, there's probably not a single listener. This is just for me and you. This is for me and you right now, all right? So, it's just so funny. So the Adam Friedland show, they've been having different guests on. They have some pretty weird range. You know, that's definitely, there's so much irony to that show. I mean, they constantly call them, they're the premier center left talk show on the internet, right? And it's just really fun. A lot of it does devolve into just regular good old Come Town stuff, but with higher production value or funny skits. But
Gay jokes.
they had this guy, Matt Healy, who I didn't know who it was, but I'd heard of his band.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, his band, the 1975. Have you heard of that band? No? I'd heard of the band. I don't know what their songs are, but they were, semi-popular, kind of indie pop, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what their music is. It sounds like an indie pop band. They're called the 1975. But so he went on their show and it turns out like he's like a fan of Come Town, and so he went along with everything. They were all joking about they're doing fake Chinese accents. They're like saying the R word. They're doing all this stuff. Just doing a regular Come Town episode. The guy liked it. They had a good time. But as soon as that comes out, there's just this huge backlash because all of these like 17 to 21-year-old women who are huge fans of the 1975 that stand this guy and follow everything he does hear about what he's been saying on this podcast. And there's like, yeah, and so they're online like, this is disgusting. I can't believe people listen to this misogynistic creeps and all this stuff. I can't believe who listens to this show. And then they start posting pictures of Adam Friedland being like, well, no wonder, look at him. And unironically comparing him to a bug, which is so funny because they've never even listened to Come Town, and that's what Nick has been calling him for like 5 years. No, it's amazing. Like, and everyone, all of Come Town fandom is like coming together being like, this is the single greatest thing that Nick Mullen has ever pulled off. Like, they blew up on Twitter for like a full day because anytime some like fan of the 1975 like is commenting about this disgusting show, I can't believe that Matt Healy has done this. Like, and I mean, there was an article in the Independent about it. Like
About being on
back-
Cometown?
What?
About him
Yes,
being on
about him
Cometown?
being on the
Yeah.
Adam Friedland show. And,
I mean Adam Friedland show,
yeah,
yeah.
and and so anytime someone was tweeting about it, all of these fans of Cometown either come out and say, like, I can't believe you're being so anti-Semitic and calling people anti-Semitic for talking shit about Adam Friedland, or people are complaining about the homophobic remarks made on the show, and they're like, it's a bit pretty crazy. All these people calling this show run by two queer men homophobic, and that made it into another article. I'm like, it's just been so funny. It's one of those things where like, oh, this is the internet. This is Twitter. This is hilarious. It was a really funny 24 hours when I would check my phone. And it's like, oh man, Nick Mullen, you never know now. It's like, did he do this on purpose? Like, I don't know. It's been really great.
Is he that much of a genius?
Probably.
Yeah.
He is pretty autistic.
Adam Friedland. I was gonna say that. Yeah. Adam Friedland's so cute though.
Yeah.
He's like a little bug.
Yeah, it's like he's this little bug who eats dust, like just like they say on the show. Yeah,
snug as an Adam Friedland in a rug.
And he's fashionable too. He's just a weird, fashionable New York hipster Jew. I think he's fun.
Curly hair,
and definitely, he has that confidence of someone who just keeps going after being publicly humiliated and shamed for years on end. Mm-hmm. Keeps doing it. So, do you have anything to say?
No.
I'm a traveling salesman. A pretty good one, I think. I work my route going from town to town, setting up franchises. I drive a Buick Ravioli. This is Buick's sporty little go-anywhere car. I like it very much. Sometimes I bring a heavy woman with me for company. Her name is Cheryl Glimpsey, and she goes with me on the road. Cheryl helped me fix a flat tire recently on my car. Well, let me tell you what happened. We were driving and my tire blew out. Luckily, she had a product called Patch-A-Flat. This is a goo that you spray from a can into your flat tire, and it inflates the tire. Well, while fixing the flat, the tire blew up in her face and her eyeball flew out. Luckily, she also had a can of Patch an Eye. That's what life on the road is like for a traveling salesman like myself. I am Ed Broth.
Is that from...
I work for the Sock and Shoe restaurants. This is a theme restaurant where your meal is brought to the table in a shoe and your bread is wrapped in a sock. They're very popular in Tuscaloosa, Mississippi, where there are 47 of them in a 5-block radius. Chain restaurants have exploded in the new millennium, and this millennium is no exception. The full name of this very fine chain is Fred Maroon's Original Sock and Shoe Restaurant. Fred made his fortune from a shoe store, and he figured that the natural transition would be to open a restaurant with the leftover stock. At our last corporate function, Fred sat there with unwashed slacks and a back full of rooster bites and said he got them from an unclean theme park pirate ride. Okay, anyway. I just wanted to smile at the end. It's stories from a moron.
Stories from a moron. Oh my god, I was really trying to place that. And all I could think of was because the title is Confederacy of Dunces. That's literally the only book I could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, God, it's Garbasian. But
on this sales trip, I checked into the Hyatt Quan Duc Thuong Hotel in Tweedy, Arizona. I must say here that the Hyatt hotel chain is the finest out there. They cater to your every need. This is a 4-star AAA Chevco award winner prestigious luxury hotel with shuttle service every 35 seconds to a ditch. I once rode their courtesy bus for an hour before I had to get off and use the Dairy Nave bathroom. It was so filthy I saw a cockroach with a mop in its hand. I don't know.
That book's like Mad Libs, like part Mad Libs. We're just like throwing random things, like 47 of them on a 1-block radius or whatever,
Oh, that's really, right.
What an odd guy.
And this story is about how he looks at all the hotel minibar prices and adds up everything in there, and says, he's like, So I added up everything in the honor bar and realized I had $3,000 worth of candy and soda in my room. I didn't feel that comfortable with all those valuables in the room, so he calls the front desk and has him bring up a safe so he could put the mini bar in a safe so that it doesn't get stolen because it's so much money. Because it's like, yeah, Snickers bar is $12, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, just wanted something lighthearted that wouldn't make any sense at the end of this.
Well, there it is. Stories from a moron. I mean, a Morgan. Same
I'm
thing.
really sore. I need to keep on the gym. How's your gym stuff going? You been going to the James?
Not good. No. I've been when I work, I
Not
walk
good.
like five or 6 miles a day.
Oh, yeah, true.
My legs are sore from dancing yesterday. I went to a show, like an EDM show.
Dancing, yeah. Ba-na-now. That's what you do?
No. Nope.
Oh, I
Nope.
thought you
Nope.
said
Nope.
that you went dancing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
been.
I did. I
Okay.
did go dance.
Not
Yeah,
good.
my thighs are pretty sore.
Who cares?
Yes, that too.
There are other things to work out other than your legs, stupid. You clod.
Yeah, I always skip upper body
Yeah,
day.
don't skip arm day.
Yeah,
I'm skipping
no,
my shoulder
I usually,
day.
when I go to the gym, I like to do my shoulders, and then I just do
yeah.
a lot of walking, but I need to do more lower body.
Huh.
For sure.
Yeah, me too. I have been skipping leg day. I always do. My legs get sore doing
Don't
cardio.
skip leg day.
And then I'm just like, I need to do leg day. I haven't done leg day.
Leg
in
day
like a couple weeks.
is
Oh, it's the
the
best.
foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You
it's
just
the
have to
biggest
eat a lot on
muscles,
leg
and it's
day.
good for you. Yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty decent with it usually. If I keep up with it, I have pretty strong legs. But that's the thing. This whole depressing ass week. It's been nice. I've had like some time. I didn't have the kid, and instead, I only went to the gym like twice because I stayed sick. Like I went to work, of course. We live in America. Went to work and just kept using hand sanitizer. And as soon as I could get off early, I'd just go home and go to sleep. And it's like, and I was like, I'm trying to
just
take a
one
nap,
thing.
drinking water as the sunlight is just streaming through my window, and just hanging out, and there's nothing going on. I was like, and my first thought is, I should be working right now. I should be working on something.
You need a hammock, I think.
I need a
be
ham
nice.
sandwich. Okay.
A ham sandwich wrapped in,
A hammock.
cellophane. In cellophane, you pour like those politicians that have to go on the road.
Oh
and
my
go through all
God,
these
yeah.
struggles and
Oh, the
eat
ham
ham
sandwiches.
sandwiches.
Yeah, it means you're really out in the real world on the road.
Really
Speaking to the real
struggling.
proletariat. Yeah. Oh God. Oh, I voted today. I mean, I dropped off my ballot. It's really awesome when there's just one thing to vote for, and I'm going to vote yes. And it's bringing back the death penalty for mentally disabled people in Washington.
Finally.
Yeah. Duh. Ooh. I just got a text message from someone that said, I'm no baker, but I'd stay up late to make a cream pie with you.
Oh, it's
How
Valentine's
sweet.
Day.
Oh, yeah. That's okay.
Aw,
I need
cute.
to have some sort of Valentine's Day come back. Put in the comments below. Well, yeah, like I'm going to get this out by Valentine's Day.
Like anyone's gonna comment. If they're still listening.
A few days later, I noticed my neighbor and his family eating again. I think they were having lots of eggs. I couldn't be sure, but it appeared to be he had 37 hard-boiled eggs on his plate in front of him. Again, we argued about this. He was furiously peppering them. My shorty pajamas were on the clothesline, flapping in the wind at his family. It was pretty windy, and they were really flapping. They were getting dry. This was probably the most flapping I'd seen them do. The sky was starting to get dark. It was getting overcast. I had seen this same sky before in a Lou Diamond Phillips alien abduction movie. I could tell that my neighbor's whole family was being overtaken by a strange force as I looked through the window. Okay. Anyway.
What a creative person.
I might be the only person in the world that finds that as funny as I do.
Something for everyone.
No, that's not true.
And scene.
You know why I like that? You know why oh boy. Why I like that book as much as I do? Because
everyone is stupid except me.
That's why.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, it's an hour and 20 minutes, so I was really looking forward to talking to you, and then you sure changed that quick. You just started talking about healthcare. No, I was, because I've had just
negative
it's just
Natalie.
been dreary, you know, so it's nice to talk to you. And
I'm
just
a little ball of
in this,
goddamn sunshine.
In this format, you know, where we can talk about stuff that we really don't have any clue about, complain, be complaining and the complainers, and then I can just start reading random parts from the free Google book preview of a book that came out 20 years ago that no one really liked.
That nobody read. Yeah. It's kind of what this is all about. Blathering inanely.
Yes, exactly. The name seems to fit. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just say, I was born in Cumberland County. Daddy was insane. Let me just tell you that. His daddy before him was insane. And his daddy's daddy was insane. Their daddies were all insane. Every man in my family was insane. They just weren't right. This had gone back in my family to the year 1612. We were riddled with insanity. Then it was a normal daddy, 2 chubby men, a big guy named Roy, then a mid-sized man about 160 pounds, and then in 1217, another insane guy. Then there were 3 more insanes, another normal guy, we think, could have been insane, a giant, and then an insane again. I think his name was Perry.
And insane.
I am not insane. I am normal. Okay, I love you. I'm gonna go. This is enough.
Okay.
Enough.
Thanks. Praise be to He, our Creator.
Yeah,
R.M.
our
Brown.
Lord and Savior R.M. Brown. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Kelsey.
Vanita kind of listens along sometimes.
Huh?
So I just dropped her name without her permission.
You won't do it. Oh. Cares. No.
Oh, nice.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah. Like, subscribe, smash that button, hit the bell,
Comment. Yeah, definitely comment.
Share it with friends and family, co-workers, teachers, students. Play it loud on a Beats pill, on the bus, while dancing with your fly open, whatever gets attention. That's all we ask. So,
yeah, I like it. It's kind of a long tagline, but
well,
I could see that on a t-shirt.
It's better than the other shirt that I have. It's like Inane Blather.
But that Doug guy, wow, what a piece of shit.
So, I love you. I'm gonna go.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.